ship before he crossed the Pacific Ocean, so he could circumnavigate and go back with all the riches that he had accumulated from robbing the Spanish galleons, so that Queen Elizabeth could be rich and fat and sassy. So he was a hero in the English. He was a villain in the Spanish. But supposedly he came into the Halo Bay and made some changes. Now, the Philippines, they were settled by the Spaniards. They had some trading and stuff that was going on. So back in the late 1700s, someplace in there was a Spanish galleon that washed up. They had a shipwreck, and they know that because there's a bunch of beeswax that they had found. We're talking big chunks, okay? And they carved in it like dates and names and stuff. And they had found that on the beach here in Halem and Manzanita. And parts of it are in the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum. And they figured that was from a Spanish galleon that had shipwrecked. And so then they go, I don't know, maybe that should fit. But what they do know is the Native Americans had at least one guy who was red hair and blue eyes that was a native. And they're going, that doesn't make any sense unless you had European influence that was here. So between those two things, they know that the Europeans had kind of had an impact in the area. But when that took place, they say that there was a treasure that was buried up on Neoconi Mountain, yet to be found. And what they did to kind of keep everybody away from it is, you know, the old pirate stories, they ended up digging a hole, putting the treasure there, shot one of the people that was, I can't remember if he was one of the shipmates or if he was one of the Native Americans, and draped his body over top of that chest and then buried it. So it's kind of like the Native Americans go, oh, that's bad news, stay away from there, we're not going to mess with it. And so it's kind of been lost to history. There have been people who've gone up, dug around up there, looked for it and stuff. But it's one of those, pirates buried treasure. Arrgh. Okay, so that's Neoconi Mountain. It's kind of a cool little story. And there's a great, if you're driving up 101, not today it wouldn't be great, but if you're driving up 101, there's some great pull-offs along the way. You can look out over the ocean. If you're looking south, you can see clear down to Oceanside, which is 30 miles south of here. So it gives you an idea how the clarity is when it's a good day. Today, not going to be so great, but it is a beautiful view. So we just crossed under Highway 101, and we're starting instead of parallel on the river. Well, we're still going to parallel the river, but we're kind of coming along the coast. And this area here is that Bots Marsh. It's 30 acres of land that's owned by the Lower Nehalem Community Trust. They acquired it through grants and through some in-kind gifts. It is pristine, just like it would have been 200-300 years ago, untouched. And by having the Lower Nehalem Community Trust taking it on, they are able to keep it in that pristine condition, to watch over it, to be caretakers of it. But this is that area where the salmon will come down. See those little creeks and stuff that are in there? Those salmon will make their way down here, and they'll hide out in those spots, give them a place that's not going to be impacted a whole lot by the tide coming in and out. And it will create a good habitat for those salmon as they're going along. There's 120 different species of critters that live in that area. The other day when I was looking over there, I saw some cattle egrets, some great blue herons, some ducks, just to name a few of the critters that I saw. There would be beavers that are in there. There would be obviously the salmon and the trout and stuff that would be swimming. And a lot of birds, particularly shorebirds, that will hang out over there. That will do their part in keeping that salmon population down as well. And then the Nehalem River flows, and then it'll end up flowing over into the Nehalem Bay that opens up to the Pacific Ocean. So when we get past, when we get to Wheeler, where we would normally stop and let you off, we're going to bypass that. We're going to go down to the other runaround. We'll disconnect the engine, and we'll bring the engine around on this side. You'll be higher than they are. They're going to be down a little bit lower. You'll be able to see it go by a little bit. And then they'll reconnect on the back there. Once they're reconnected, we'll pull you back into Wheeler Station, and we'll get you off and get you home. Thanks for being with us today, folks. It's one of those days you're going, well, the population on the train's not quite as big as we'd hoped for, but it allowed us to make some changes and stuff going along with this, and we appreciate your flexibility and the hardiness that you guys are experiencing stepping outside. There's a rainbow over there. It's not a real strong one, but you can see that sun shining on it and get some of those colors going along there.